The coronavirus was first found in 1965, and it's the virus of the common cold. Coronavirus is the common cold. Ones we see every day, you get over a cold, it's no big deal. It's what we call an RNA virus. It's the largest RNA virus on the planet. It's the biggest one that we've seen. And these coronaviruses like to hang out and live in bats. Bats carried around all over the world. It likes to hang around in bats. Doesn't make bats sick, but it's the vehicle for coronaviruses to go wherever they want to go. And the coronaviruses are born to mutate. They're born to change. And give you an idea of how rapidly they change, for humans, it takes 8 million years for us to change our DNA 1%. For a coronavirus, it can change its RNA 1% in 1 week. So it is born to mutate. And so when we see these variants floating around, it is inevitable because the virus is born to mutate and it's going to change its spots to be able to allow it to survive as best as it can. And so when we see these variants floating around, these were inevitable. They were to be expected, and not ones that were not unexpected. What was unexpected is how, if you will, transmissible some of the new mutants that we're seeing at this time. And so when we talk about the COVID epidemic right now, there's a big issue to help protect people from getting sick with it, but there's also a big issue too that's not talked about, is we have to stop the virus from growing, because if it continues to grow, it will continue to mutate, and we're going to end up with a viral variant that will be transmissible and may get around the vaccines that we're having at this point in time. Well, the story of coronaviruses and the SARS epidemic started actually in 2002, where the first SARS epidemic happened in China. And it had to do with the interaction between bats and an animal called a palm civet. And a palm civet is an animal that actually hangs around in Asia and primarily China. And the coronaviruses from the bats got in contact with the palm civet and made SARS-1. Now, the good news is that that particular virus was not highly transmissible, and that epidemic stayed primarily in China. Not that many people got it, and it did not spread worldwide. But it was our first clue from the infectious disease community that we're going to have a problem in our hands, because it's just by the grace of God that that one didn't get loose. And we were just being embrace ourselves with what could happen in the future. And we began to sort of raise red flags that we need to be prepared, because this may happen anytime in the future. Well, nobody paid much attention to it until we had the second pandemic, or second epidemic, which was SARS-2 in 2012. That was in the Middle East, where bats got in contact with camel coronaviruses, and they got together and made what we call the Middle Eastern severe respiratory syndrome. And the good news then is that that also didn't spread, but we began to raise the flag up. Hey, it's just by the grace of God that didn't happen. This is going to happen. We need to get ready. Well, back in the backlogs of science, we started getting ready. And believe it or not, in 2012 was when the technology for the mRNA vaccines that we have now was established from the University of Pittsburgh. And so when we say this mRNA vaccine data or technology is new, it actually isn't new. It's been around for 10 years, but nobody used it to make a vaccine, because everybody says, well, we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to do anything right now, so we're not going to do anything with it at this point in time. So the technology was there. Then we come now to the coronavirus, or the SARS epidemic that we're seeing now. And it began in China. It's not exactly clear exactly where, what animals it was the bat got with, or whether or not it leaked from a lab. Either wherever it happened, it started in December, and it spread very rapidly throughout the community. It got on airplanes, and it got all over the world, as we see at this point in time. And that's sort of where we are with the epidemic.